I'm going to start by saying a huge focus in my job is taking complex things and making them simple. The best way to do that is through analogies and metaphor, because analogies and metaphor are shortcuts to understanding. This is where my X factor comes in. You want to know the secret sauce? Anytime someone suggests that I watch something, read something, listen to something, I say yes, and I do it. And here's what that means. My intake of business books is pretty low. My intake of everything else, every other genre, is high. If you're going to make an analogy or a metaphor, you need to have a universe of exposure to ideas. So my X factor is I am just constantly consuming everyone's favorite things. And by doing that, it allows me to connect really well with other people. And that's my favorite part of the job.
Zillow processes more real estate leads than almost anyone on the planet. But knowing what to do with a lead once you've received it, well, that's a different skill entirely. My guest today spends his days inside that exact problem. He's Zillow's agent enablement expert, and his job is helping agents actually convert the opportunity that's sitting in front of them. He's not here to give you a product pitch, though. He's here because he's genuinely passionate about what makes agents win. And that is how they build a brand people trust, how they lead, and how that turns into a real conversation, and how they turn that conversation into a closed deal. If you've ever wondered what separates agents who thrive on platforms like Zillow from agents who just show up on them, then this conversation is for you. Please welcome Jimmy Miller. Jimmy, welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I'm thrilled to be here. As a generous introduction, but you are absolutely correct. What I care about is how do we help agents who want to get better be better? I oftentimes say what I'm really an expert in is figuring out what is a good day for any agent, and then figuring out how do we scale that. So how do we help you have more good days than bad days?
More good days than bad days. But it is quite a mouthful to say agent enablement expert. So I like what you said, having more good days than bad days. That's a
Sure.
lot simpler than that. But what does it really mean on the day to day to help us have more good days than bad days? So tell us, what's a typical day look like for you?
I'm happy to tell you that. But we're going to start, though, by saying something you did not expect.
Okay.
People use the word enablement a lot, but I would encourage you to type it into the word processor of your choice right now. When you do that, you're going to notice there's a red little squiggle that comes underneath it. And the reason why is because it's not even really a word. It's very made up, but it means a lot. And so, like I said, my ethos, my reason for being is to help figure out how to help everyone scale the things that make them great and then make them as easy as possible to do over and over again. So I like to tell my team a lot, what are we trying to do? We are trying to make the right thing to do the easy thing to do. Because when we do that, we do the right thing a lot more.
Okay, make the right thing to do the easy thing to do.
Yes. Okay. And I say that because as a child, the thing that vexed my parents the most was they're like, teachers would always say the same thing. Your kid's very smart. He is extremely lazy. And if there's an easy way to do something, he's going to find it. And the joke's on them.
I already, Jimmy, can picture you as like a 6-year-old boy, like getting that on your report card, right? Jimmy's very smart, but he'll take the easy way out. Like he doesn't want to work hard.
Every single time. And the joke on my parents is, guess what? There's a career in that in 2026.
There is a career in that. So enablement, in other words, equals making the right thing to do the easy thing to do.
Yes, and that can mean a lot of things. So in our day-to-day, I have a couple different functions. Number one, my team is responsible for learning from agents. And so we work a lot with product, and that means learning from product. What's the problem they're trying to solve? What are the pain points they're addressing? And then what is the solution they think will address that pain? They have this idea that they've made a perfect product. But have you ever received a perfect product? No. And that's because when we put our product in the hands of real working agents, they're always going to use it in a way we never expected. Sometimes in ways that confuse us, but sometimes in ways where we're like, oh, wow, I wish we had thought of that. So a
Jimmy,
huge
I
part of,
call that the difference between being like book smart and agent smart.
yes.
So like the product team is like book smart, right? It
Oh,
works in theory, it works in how their minds work, but then agent smart is like how we use it on the street, right? At the kitchen table, on the hood of the car, like out in the
yes.
parking lot, like in the real life application. And
I
it
love
never works the same way in those applications as it does for the product team.
No, I actually love what you said by happening on the hood of a car, and like sometimes the hood of a hot car where you're like
That's
trying
right.
to lean
Yeah,
and work
listen,
and
I'm
go.
I'm in Scottsdale. It's 108
You
degrees today. It's
you
hot.
know, coming to you from Waco, Texas. It's 102
You
right now.
know.
We're,
Yes.
we're there. I got you.
Yeah.
So I talk a lot to agents on the ground. A huge chunk of my job that I love the most is that yes, I get to spend time in the strategic rooms, but I'm also keeping 2 feet firmly on the ground. I'm in these streets talking to agents and team leaders all the time. And I want to hear the good, the bad, the horrendously ugly, and also all of your product ideas. And I like
Okay.
to tell people when you're on a Zoom with me or you're in the room with me, if you've ever wondered, am I talking to the person who's actually going to get my feedback to the right place? Congrats, you found the right room. It's me.
Okay. Okay. So you're that bridge. You're that
Mhm.
gap.
I'm that bridge. Now, from that, what my team then does is we figure out, okay, can we, if there's pain points, can we solve them through product? And so we connect to product. If there's an asset we need to make, whether it's knowledge to have at your fingertips, maybe scripting to help make your life easier, strategies so that you can figure out how to use a tool very, very well, define best practices as agents are using the tool. My team gets to the bottom of what those are, and then we create those resources and try to make them as available as possible to every single person. So I'm professionally loud, is what I oftentimes tell people.
All right. So professionally loud. I like that. I'm seeing that childhood report card again. Like you
Oh, I
really
bet you can.
do. That's
It's
awesome.
I wear that report card every day. I think.
All
So
right.
that's a day in the life.
That's a day in the life. I like that. So, I mean, having that bridge, right, or like closing that gap from like
Hmm.
real life use back to sort of the product team. Let's talk about like how that comes to life, right? So, if we take an example of a product like Zillow Pro, which
Yes.
our agents use every day, right? So our Zillow clients, tell us about, let's set the stage first before we dive into that. So for those that
Okay.
maybe aren't Zillow Pro users who might be listening, what is Zillow Pro? Why does it matter for agents right now? So give us that, and then we can talk a little bit more about it.
Sure, I can. And you're the one who promised it wasn't a product pitch, but I will talk about
It's
this
such
one
a
for a
great
second.
example of what we're talking about from a
Yes.
product and bridge example that I want to be real world about it.
I love it. And so here's what I've got for you. So I started at Follow Up Boss, and that is like the CRM for real estate. I got in there because their big idea was let's get in the ground, in the mud with agents and figure out what are processes in the CRM that's going to help make transactions happen more efficiently. So
Yeah.
when Follow Up Boss joined Zillow, we had a new opportunity that we've never had before. And that opportunity was Zillow's data. So do you know how, like, what percentage of buyers and sellers interact with Zillow? But when they're going to buy or sell a home, do you know what percentage of Americans?
I think it's really high, like 90+%.
I mean, listen. Legal tells me to say over 70%, right?
Okay.
If you're like me, you're on there anyway, right? And so
Yeah.
here's the thing: when you actually think about that number, 70% of buyers and sellers in the United States are using Zillow as a part of their transaction. That means Zillow is sitting on this mountain of data. But you know what Zillow is not? Zillow is not an agent,
Right.
right? It's not. What we are is a way for people to, dream about their homes and eventually move that direction, but they're never going to move any direction unless an agent is meeting with them, holding their hand, showing them the homes, helping them make sense of what it takes to get from point A to their new home. So, with that, Here's what Zillow Pro is. Zillow Pro is saying, listen, we have Follow Up Boss. We have the CRM that is beloved because we've been at this now for over a decade. What if we injected all the data that Zillow has about the leads in your CRM? What if we took that data and we just put it right in your CRM so that where you work every day is also where the wealth of information lives? And what we believe is that when we marry those things together, that's going to allow agents to take action not when it feels right, but when it actually matters. Because when Zillow gets buyer and seller signals from web activity or from market activity, we can inject that into your CRM, bring it to your attention, and that allows you to reach out to a lead with confidence, take action with a lead with confidence.
So let's bring this into like real life. So then what
Sure.
that means is that when my buyer is on Zillow and they are looking at properties, I then can see in my follow-up boss that they have been looking at properties, how many properties they've looked at, how many times they've looked at that property, when they've looked at that property, if they've shared that property. Am I tracking here?
Oh yeah, and that's the tip of the iceberg. So and that can get to where we're kind of going here. So you're talking about one feature, which is My Agent. My Agent solves this problem of, hey, you've probably spent money on a website and then money on SEO and ads to get people to come to that website so that you could pull data from people on your website. That's smart. Zillow's idea is, yeah, but what if we just made Zillow function the same way? To where all the data you were trying to get and worked so hard to get, we just skipped that part and just gave it to you because it's your lead, right? That belongs to you.
Right.
So that's one piece, but the other piece is pretty critical. So My Agent is what you described, where we're able to connect you with a lead inside of Zillow and allow their data to come straight in. And that's very exciting. But what's more exciting is what's also happening in conjunction with this. Because how many of us have just been browsing real estate because we're like, I don't know, hanging out in Gulf Shores or we're in Breckenridge and we're like, I wonder what this is. And then you fat finger like a button and now an agent that you never wanted to connect with is calling you. That's like a nightmare for people with social anxiety. But what My Agent does is that says a lead is raising their hand and saying to Zillow, hey, take me out of your lead pool. Don't give me to anyone else. I'm working with an agent, and that agent is you. And so that means you have this persistent branding inside the little glowing rectangle they're looking at when they're actually looking for homes.
So once I'm attached to an agent, even if I have clicked a button on Zillow, will it work even if I request information on another property outside of my main market? It would still funnel back to the My Agent?
So the way it works is if I'm browsing, it's like, let's say you're My Agent, right? Yeah. And we're browsing inside Scottsdale. Anything that's in your area, I'm always going to route to you. In fact, I'm not even going to see another agent, right? Imagine if that billboard that you put up on the highway, imagine if it was right there on the phone, except that instead of a billboard, I could click it and talk to you, connect with you. Yeah. That is true. However, I mean, are you licensed in Rhode Island?
No.
Then it doesn't quite make sense the same way. So what it gives you is that lead exclusivity where you work. But here's the different piece. And this is the part that I want people to understand. If you've ever been on Premier Agent before, you've actually seen My Agent at work. But that always came with this timer. And let me tell you something about timers. Have you ever seen an Alfred Hitchcock movie? I know, it's older stuff. Alfred Hitchcock knew how to build suspense. And one of the ways to build suspense is to show a countdown clock.
Yeah.
Well, that gives me the anxiety I don't need, especially if it's a lead that I've been working with for 10 years. So what Zillow Pro does is it says, hey, it doesn't matter if the lead came from us or not. If that lead is your lead, you should be able to pull that data from Zillow. So My Agent is now for anyone. It's lead agnostic. And number two, if you connect using Zillow Pro with My Agent to a lead, that lead no longer has the countdown clock on it. That lead is yours forever. And that means you are their agent on Zillow whenever they go on. And that data is coming in to your CRM persistently until the lead decides they don't want to work with you anymore. All that to say, it becomes a really powerful tool because it's beyond just Zillow leads, because we understand just because you're working with a lead doesn't mean they're not on Zillow. They probably are. And
Yeah.
so if you're working with them, let's just give you the data.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So you mentioned real-time signals.
Yeah.
So I had mentioned a couple of them in terms of like I've looked at a property, I've saved a property, I've shared a property. What are some other real-time signals that I would see?
Oh, one of my favorite ones, because this is oftentimes, and we can get into talking about how all of this is going to help agents. And I think that's maybe the best way to frame it
Okay.
is I work with a lot of teams, I work with a lot of solo agents, and something I've learned is that the difference between tenured agents who are making plenty of money and
Mhm.
those newer agents that are struggling is that the tenured agents know what to do next.
Yes.
And so my hypothesis is, as an enablement professional, is what if we gave people the next steps so that they could
Okay.
take them with confidence? I bet we could raise the floor of the lowest performers, and we could actually microwave those, least tenured agents into a more tenured approach.
Absolutely. Because
So
we'd increase confidence, right? We all feel more confident when we know what the next step is.
So, to answer your question, maybe one of my favorite features, and we have to coach to this, by the way, is that if
Okay.
you're in a my agent relationship with a lead, if that lead is browsing Zillow and you're in your CRM, you'll see a little green dot, green for go. They're browsing right now. And what you don't want to do is go call, hey, I see you're browsing Zillow. Is it time to talk real estate?
It does feel a little stalkerish.
Yeah, yes, that's a little too much. That's like you put a
Yeah.
ring doorbell cam, on Zillow, and you're just like waiting for people to ring your doorbell. But instead, what we would say is, if it's green, they're probably thinking about real estate. So maybe shoot them a text. The
Right.
likelihood they're going to respond is much higher. Or maybe give them a call and just say, hey, John Smith, I was thinking about you. We talked last week, and I'm wondering if now's a good time to call and maybe talk. The
Right.
odds that they're going to pick up are much higher.
Much higher. Yes. Okay. All right.
So that's
That's real time, right? You know, then when they are active and when they are
absolutely.
thinking of real estate versus when they're at work, for example, or,
Yeah.
at the soccer game with the kids or like doing something that is not a good time. And they may still be active in like interested. There's just not a good time to talk to you or engage with you.
Yes, that's exactly right. And so
Okay.
we have many, many signals. I think that's the clearest one. There's another one that I also like because this is where we get to, well, what makes this different than just pumping data into your CRM?
Yeah.
And so if we take that cognitive leap, like what can software do for you? What can AI do for you? Well, something AI is very good at is sensing patterns and
Mhm.
making sense of data collections, right? Um, do you mind if I ask, why did you get into real estate in the first place, Wendy? What was it that got you in there?
Uh, I was encouraged to get into real estate to learn about business.
Okay. And
I
why
know
do you
that's not
like
a
it?
typical
Yeah.
answer, is it?
No, but why do you like it? What is it about real estate? Because it's hard. So if you're
Yeah.
in it and you're still here, you must like it. Why do you
Yes.
like it?
I love being able to work with people and help them find homes, and it's doing different things every single day.
I I mean, you've summed up what all the best real estate agents say. All of those are true. What I noticed you did not say is computer engineering, be a data scientist,
Yes.
light
Yeah,
coding.
that's
No,
right.
even ops. And a lot of us are good at ops, but that doesn't mean we like it. We'd rather be out there helping people find homes. So that means we should be creating systems to take care of the things that agents have to do but don't want to do. So one
Right.
of the features that I love is if we are watching someone's browsing history, we can do two things for you. Number one, we could see the average property they're looking at, right? Price, bedroom size, kitchen size, and we can figure out if there's homes in those zip codes that they would like but have not yet looked at. And we can
Mhm.
allow the agent then to send them over because the agent should be the hero, right?
Right.
Any computer can do that. But no, this is about actually making the transaction happen. And a computer is never going to do that. The agent's going to do that. The other one that I think is really powerful are smart messages. So, do you know the difference between agentic AI and generative AI?
No, tell us the difference.
This is good. If you've been sitting in conferences and learning about AI, you might have
Yeah.
heard these two words. I'll keep it real simple. Generative AI is the most common thing that you've probably seen and experienced. It's your Chat GPT, it's your Claude, where you are in a terminal and you're talking to it, asking it questions, and it responds back to you. This is
Yeah.
generative AI. And it learns, it can do things, but you have to be talking to it.
Yeah. Sort of that back and forth.
Yes. Agentic AI is almost like hiring a VA or an ISA, and you give them a job description and tasks, and you say, okay, I'm going to go do this, you go do that, and I'll catch up with you later. And it's happening in the background.
Okay. I like that.
Yes. Smart messages are generative AI. And the way that this works in Follow Up Boss is you've got your Follow Up Boss number, which is a VoIP number, a voice over IP number. And because of that, we can bring all your phone calls and texts and then join that with your email into one single communication flow. This is nothing new. We've been doing this at Follow Up Boss for a hot minute. What is new are smart messages, where if we know your conversation history, we know what you're talking about, we know how you like to talk, then you can follow up with customers faster, unified with that data coming in from Zillow, and send follow-up messages without having to check your notes, right? And allows you to tap, generate, always read, because you should read. You're the one sending the message. AI might help you, smart messages might help you generate, but you're the one that's going to be held accountable for all the things you communicate to a client.
You have the opportunity to edit it, like make sure that it is capturing your tone, your voice, how you would interact with that client to ensure that there's the right familiarity there, there's the right kind of tone there, if the AI isn't quite capturing that.
100%. And this is where I say the real power of bringing artificial intelligence into a CRM is not that it's looking through all of your digital communication and helping you take the next step. It's actually because you can finally unify your lived real estate experience out in the world with what's going on inside the computer. And let me give you an example. You could hit smart messages to give a follow-up text to a lead in your database that you've been talking to for the last month. And it's going to know everything you've said on the phone and in your email. But let me tell you something. You might have actually run into this lead in the grocery store and move the conversation forward and never enter that into your CRM.
Yes.
And that's where
it happens all the time.
It has to, because real estate agents are unique insofar as they work where they live, and they also are working all the time. And so
they don't want to.
And so now you have the benefit of whatever's top of mind can be joined with whatever has happened in the entire history of a lead into something that is fresh and actionable and new, and is going to make those transactions happen more smoothly.
Oh, very cool. Okay. So if you had to name one thing that you think agents leave on the table most often when it comes to their existing relationships, what do you think it would be?
Oh, Wendy, I'm going to answer this as someone who does not have a real estate license.
Okay. But
now,
somebody who is an agent enablement expert.
Yes. But I say this as a home buyer myself. Mm-hmm. I had a great agent. I'll let you know. Her name is Tracy. Tracy sold me my home in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I still remember her. I'd give you her last name, but I mean, come on. We're not going to dox anybody on a podcast. Tracy's great. But you know what I love most about Tracy is that she never misses an opportunity to at least throw something my way. And when I talk to agents, I think the thing they leave on the table most is in casual conversation, you underestimate how much people want to hear how much their house is worth. And here's what I mean by that.
Okay, yes. Tell us about that. So how much people underestimate how much they want to hear how much their home is worth.
And here's why I say that. Okay. Because I am not going to be selling anytime soon. And the reason is because I bought in October 2020. So my that little percentage by my note is as low as it's ever going to be. Okay. But you know what I do love is that whenever Tracy comes to talk to me, she's always like, hey, did you know Like the homes in your neighborhood are selling for this and this. We could probably get this
Because
for
I
your
want to
home.
hear that I've gotten appreciation. So I've made money on my
Yes.
home. Yes, yes.
So
I get it. Yeah.
worst case, I feel smart. I feel
Yes.
good about my decision. Best case, it's wait a
Yeah.
second. I could sell for what? Yeah, we need to talk. And
Right.
so either way, it's a way for an agent to kind of test what's going on with their lead in a friendly way, leaving them feeling good, but maybe striking up a listing conversation they didn't even know was available to them.
Right. Okay. So the takeaway is agents talk to people about what their home is worth.
Yes.
Best case, they've got more equity, they got price appreciation, they may want to sell. Worst case, which is also a best case, they feel good because they've gotten appreciation on their house and they're feeling prideful in that. Either way, it's a
Yes.
win-win conversation.
It's a win-win. And you know what else you're communicating? You're communicating, hey, I'm a real estate agent professional, capital P. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. And because you're right here, I might as well give you a little inside knowledge.
Yeah.
And that just feels
I love
good
it.
for that relationship. Yeah. So I think people leave that on
That's
the table.
awesome. Great takeaway. Love that so much. Okay. So I call the podcast X Factor because I believe we all have an X Factor. And I'm seeing your X Factor. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. But I want to ask you to verbalize it. And you're working inside one of the most recognizable brands in the real estate industry. What do you think your X Factor is?
I came prepared for this because I watched a lot of episodes.
You did. You told me you did your homework for this
I
one.
did. So I'm going to start by saying a huge focus in my job is taking complex things and making them simple. And the best way to do that is through analogies and metaphor, because analogies and metaphor are shortcuts to understanding. That's what's going on in our brains. Now, to do that well, this is where my X factor comes in. You want to know the secret sauce?
I want to know the secret sauce.
The secret sauce is going to come with some homework for you, Wendy. Okay, so here's what it is.
Oh, goodness, I get homework. Okay.
That's
Okay.
easy. Anytime someone suggests that I watch something, read something, listen to something, consume something, I say yes and I do it. And here's what that means. Here's what that means. I am my intake of business books is pretty low. My intake of everything else, every other genre, is outrageously high. And here's what's great about it is if you're going to make an analogy or a metaphor, you need to have a universe of exposure to ideas. It's what fuels your creativity and allows you to connect with anyone and everyone. But I will also give you this bit because sometimes someone will throw a suggestion to watch something or read something that's a real stinker, but it's not a loss. Do you know why?
Why?
Because when someone gives you something that you don't like, it allows you to ask that second question, which is, if something is really popular, but I don't like it, now I have an opportunity to figure out why people like it. And that teaches you something else. So my X factor is I am just constantly consuming everyone's favorite things. And by doing that, it allows me to connect really well with other people. And that's my favorite part of the job.
That's awesome. Well, it's been such a delight to get an inside view into what an agent enablement expert does and giving us the opportunity to understand like how you bring that to life and really bridge that gap from the products that we know that Zillow delivers and we hear about and we experience and we consume in the market to how they come to life and your role in that. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Tell everyone how they can get in touch with you and connect with you.
It's pretty easy. I'm an adult with a child's name, so if you're just looking around Zillow for a Jimmy, it's probably going to be me. You can see me. I'm often going to be in your neighborhoods at Zillow events, talking and teaching with agents. The best thing you can do is go just Google Zillow Pro, and you'll get brought to a landing page, and you will see a slate of enablement resources, what these products are, how to best use them, how other customers are using them. And from there, you'll be able to see the work not only of me, but also of my spectacular team. Shout out to the team for Zillow Academy. If you've never taken a Zillow Academy course, they're free. You just log in with your Zillow account. And we have so many courses that have been made that will walk you through step by step how to use almost every single tool that we've ever built. So I would say go explore those. They're a great, great resource. But Wendy, I do have a question for you if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure.
I gave you my X Factor, and my X
Yep.
Factor relies on suggestions from people. So
Yep.
could you give me something that you have read or watched or listened to that you think would be meaningful for me?
Well, you already told me that you don't read business books, so I
Not as
guess I
much.
can't. I
You
can't
could.
recommend a book.
You can recommend books. I got plenty of them.
Well, no, but you're not going to read them, so I'm not going to recommend a book.
Oh, I'll read them. I will read a business book. I'm just not picking them up unless someone suggests it. That's the rule.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to give you a book. Let me share. What am I going to share with you that I think that you would enjoy? Um, I mean, there's so much good content out there. You know who I am really following from a content perspective that I'm getting so much out of right now is Neil Patel.
Okay.
Do you follow Neil?
I do not. So you're giving me something brand new. This is the
Yeah,
best.
so you will get a lot from his content. Follow him on Instagram. He has a podcast as well. Follow his podcast, great content, lots on marketing, lots that you'll take from the enablement perspective in terms of how people are engaging online, particularly how artificial intelligence is changing consumer behavior, which I think that you would like really enjoy. So
Fascinating.
that
Yes.
would be my suggestion. Would be Neil Patel.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.